Alright, so I'm going to start a new game here of Final Fantasy VIII. Just play our way through it. Don't know how far we'll get, but it's one of my favourite games. The controls are all fucked up because it is a Steam version. And I did have to mess about for a bit to try and get it sorted. There's also like a patch I threw for the audio. Still a good game, so we're just going to sit through the intro here. Of course, this was one of the games that you couldn't skip the cutscenes, even when you were replaying the game. Like, it's a good cutscene, but when you just want to get struck back into the game, it's kind of in your face all the time. So that's the opening. Sort of gives away more than it should for an opening of a game, especially of a story-driven game. So that was your scrap in the morning against your rival, Safer. And obviously you've got the big fucking scar on your face now, because you just sliced your face open and you returned the favour to him, so you've ended up in hospital. So they're just trying to explain here that, you know, he's your fucking typical rogue, and you're a fucking asshole and can't back down from a fight, so now you had to get your fucking teacher in to bail you out. This is one of these games that were released in the PlayStation 1, but this was before they had voice acting in the mainstream Final Fantasy games. I think 10 was the first one to have proper voice acting. So your instructor's coming flying in here. Pretty slow start of the game, unfortunately. So now you just have to follow her. Unfortunately, you can't run. She starts fucking lecturing you on your actions in the morning. This game has got a bad reputation as being like one of the worst Final Fantasy games. It's one of my favorites. In fact, it actually is. I would say it is my favorite. I wouldn't say it's the best Final Fantasy. Like a lot of people do hate it, and I can understand where they're coming from. But the game itself is actually it's a really good game. It's actually kind of annoying that it gets such a bad stick for what it is. It's really worth a playthrough. So pretty much because of your scrap in the morning, you never actually got to perform the trial. It's like a preliminary trial before you can take on your first examination. So now we have to fly in and sort that out first. You're told to go to the fucking study panel. And the reason for that is, if you don't actually go up here, you'll actually miss out on 2 of your summons. Because you get the first 2 summons. What we want to do is just go and log into the computer. This is actually all optional, so you can just decide to skip these 2, but not having these is like it's you're just gonna nerve yourself something fierce, especially for this guy, because he's gonna give me an ability that is pretty good near the start of the game. It's gonna allow me to cheese some of the fights later. We don't need to read any of that. That just tells you how to play the game. And then there's all that like background information, especially about the committee, which you'll learn about later. So we're just gonna leave the computer, just log out. Oh, I don't want to do one more time. So that's essentially, you've got your, no, the menus are all messed up in this game. Quetzalcoatl and Shiva, that's your 2 summons. You don't really need to summon that much in this game, but you do want to junction them. This game is all about junction summons to yourself. So we want to take Shiva, and it's circle to get out. Then we get to choose some abilities to take with us. So we want to take Draw, because that's how you actually get your magic. We want Item, and we want to use magic. You don't really need these. GS, they are handy to have, but later on you'll find out that the lower your rank, the more you use them. And they're not really that effective, plus they take long times to call out. But you can use them to absorb hits. And I'm going to be nice to this one because this is actually my favourite character in the game. She's the fucking nerd. That essentially becomes your tank class later once you get the brothers summon. She learns an ability called Defend. And by using Defend and exploiting her Limit Break, she essentially becomes the white mage of your group. Because this game doesn't actually have designated classes that most other games would have in the series. So you sort of just have to make it up as you go along. So I like her ability because she does get access to a full cure pretty much from the start of the game. So that's why I like having her about. So now we just have to show her around. You can skip this if you want. And for the first part of the game, you can actually use this to teleport about the school. The ability gets removed later, like way later on in the game. Which kind of sucks, because running about takes a while. So they're trying to explain just what we're meant to be doing here. And you just get reminded that you do have to meet your teacher at the front gate. Head to the Ifrits cavern. So we're just going to skip through this. We will be going to the library a few times in this game because I'm not going to focus too much on the side quests like Cell's side quests and shit, but I do want to get cards, and that wee guy has run about. He actually has a card that I want. So I'm going to save the game here just to get started. No, see, the menus are going to be so confusing to get through, but we'll save. I'm just going to overwrite that one because that's an old file I was used for testing. And I want to go to, at the start, I don't actually need to go anywhere right now. So I'm just going to go straight to the front gate. And she's going to try and give me a tutorial, but I'm going to hopefully try and skip it if I time it right. If I remember correctly, if you press cancel at the right time, yep, you can skip it. Otherwise you would have to sit through a menu of how to get the summons attached to yourself. So I'm actually going to junction the other summon to her. Don't have any magic to junction yet, but I do want to give her the abilities. And I will give her GF, draw, item, and we have no abilities yet. The reason I am giving her summon is because out here, let me see if we turn the camera, over there is the cave, but I don't want to go there just yet. I actually want to go down to the beach. And there's enemies here. That should give us some GP. Or AP, which is what you use to level up your summons. These guys are weak against lightning once they come out of the ground, so we're trying to just bait them out of the ground at the minute. I'm pretty sure there was a button, there we go, that makes it easier. See, that guy's out now, so he'll be weak to lightning. And I've actually already messed up because I forgot to... I forgot to actually set my summons to learn specific moves, so they're going to still be learning the default ones. But sure, might as well just use this as an example to show the summons anyway. So we're going to summon this guy. So the 300 health now is actually the summon's health, so any damage that Quistis would have taken will now go to Quetzalcoatl. So that's what I'm saying, that's good for deflecting your magic. Or deflecting your damage. Just going to draw some magic to equip this later. The magic at the start's pretty brown, so you don't need to worry too much about it. Summons do take a while as well to come out once you summon them. And it's not like the newer games where you actually control them. They just come out, do an attack, and then they slide on. So that's actually a lot. That's like 10 times the amount of damage I would have done by just hitting them. And 6 AP. That's actually a lot of AP. But what I should have done at the start was go here. We want to set this guy to learn card. And we want to set Shiva to learn strength junction. Pretty much that just means with any magic you obtain later will let you junction your magic to strength, and it just artificially inflates your stats without actually having to level up. Enemies actually level up as you do, so if you don't actually gain much experience in the game, it actually means the last boss will be piss easy. And I believe them guys have cure, if I were to draw that from them. No. I believe it's this one. So unfortunately this game doesn't actually support D-pad support on the controller. Not scans, that's not cure, so maybe he's got fire and scan, so not cure. Which sucks, so we're just gonna kill him off. That's fine. I'll just gather some so the question marks removed for later on. Yeah, so that kinda sucks. So maybe it's the caterpillar that's actually in the forest that has it. So last time we got 6 AP for killing the 2 fish things. These I only believe give 1, so these aren't that good. Yeah, so you only get 1 each for them ones compared to the 3 for the other enemies. And if you exploit the... Again, we're just going to skip this tutorial before we get stuck into it. I already know. So these guys are going to give me a time limit. And if you finish just... Let me see... They'll ask you for a time limit, and if you finish right at the end, you'll get a high score. But I'm actually not too sure on my strength. But we're going to YOLO it. I'll save it anyway just before this. So, that in this game means you go back the entire way. And we want to try and skip as many encounters as we can, due to the time limit. She's trying to talk wet just to try and cheer us up. So timers do go through loading screens, which is actually quite fast compared to the actual PlayStation version. So I'm just going to gun these down real quick. There's not much health in them boys. I'm not too fussed on like getting high score on the boss because I can get my rank up later if I really want to. Your rank pretty much determines how much money you get, and money's not that important in this game. So the boss is up here, so we can just take our time now with this scrub enemy. Or group of enemies. So I'm going to try and stock some magic off these guys. Thunder. So these enemies actually have a lot of health. And what I could do is I could just summon this guy. He should help eliminate some. This was one of the older games, so this didn't have like an animation shortening effect in this game. So every time you summon somebody, you had to watch the entire thing. So you really don't want to be summoning fucking Eden later on. It's one of the later summons. Because he takes like 2 minutes. Well, that makes it handier. And now we can just kill this guy. I didn't do as much damage there because I didn't trigger my bullet from my sword, which is actually a thing in this game. So, I don't actually think I have any items. Well, we actually start with a few. That's pretty good. But we're just going to go straight up and get stuck into the boss. Which of course is Ifrit. We're just going to gun him down real quick. I believe he might have cure, so we'll check him for cure. And he does, so we've got 7 cures now, so we can cure 7 times. So, magic isn't actually based on MP in this game, it's just based on the amount you've gathered. So we're going to grab an off you. You can hold up the 99. And what we actually want, I actually want my health to fall below a certain amount. Because when your health falls below a certain amount, you can use your limit break and you can exploit it by constantly refreshing the turn gauge. So now she is in low health. So for the rest of the fight she will be able to use her limit break. And she's actually gonna die. Nope, never mind, it hits him. So I want to keep her cured up, because her limit break, until she gets a move later, she's not that good. But we actually want this guy's limit break. And she's pretty strong as well. Well, that's actually indeed, is it? I wonder if he has scans, ultra. So we're gonna scan him, see how much health he has. It'll actually tell you what he's weak against and things as well. So he's still got 500 health left, so that's fine. We've only got 4 minutes left, so about 10 more hits and he's dead. As you see, I was just cycling the turn gauge, because that's what actually gives you your limit break. Again, only 3 minutes left, so we're actually running a bit low on time. Don't know how anybody would spend 40 minutes in here, because you did get to choose 40 minutes as one of your entrance things. Oh, here we go. So she's in 110, which is enough to trigger her limit. Limit breaks automatically take precedence over any other attack, so you're guaranteed to get the first turn. And that's him done. So I'll not get the highest score because there's still 2 minutes 30, but that's pretty good. You think you have to finish in like the last 7 seconds. And you get his card for winning. Now, I do believe if we sit in this menu for a minute or so, the timer still does tick down. So I might actually just let this run here before I cut the video off, because I think I'm just going to end the video once we get outside again, which is pretty good. So this is pretty much just the intro to Final Fantasy VIII, where go into the cave, get the tutorial, shows you how to pretty much do the battle system, how to junction magic. The story of the game actually hasn't started yet, so we're going to get our first mission, which is going to send us across the water to the first city, where we'll meet up with other teammates, and not actually our instructor. Our instructor's going to slide on for a bit. You don't actually get to see her for a bit. But a good thing is, anything that you junction to characters that leave your party, once that party member becomes unavailable, you will get them all back. So any equipment or, well, I wouldn't really say equipment because there's not really gear in this game. It's more just the junction. If your junction and your magic, anything that you've given them, the magic will stay on the character, but your summons will come back. So you don't have to worry about losing your summons if you accidentally just leave it on a character before they scare it on. Because like you're not gonna know when a character's gonna leave unless you've played the game before. So hopefully that timer's just run down a bit. Not too sure if it actually does work yet, but anyway. Again, she's just giving me your final tutorial where she talks about junctioning magic to your attack. Which again, if you actually level up your GF abilities, these ones here, you can get extra things. So with these here, we can boost our vitality and our HP, which will allow us to, like, when you give Quetzalcoatl with HP junction to Squall, which is the main character, when you give that to him later on, you can set his HP to 9999 pretty much before the start of, or before the end of disc 1. And with that, with 2500 health left, you'll be able to access your limit break, which is still overpowered for the whole game pretty much, because no one's going to do 2500 when you're such a low level. So we don't actually want to kill too many enemies, more than we have to. Again, I've almost leveled up to level 10, which we don't really want to do. When you beat bosses, bosses don't actually give experience, they just give your GP, or AP. So you can actually level up your summons abilities and not actually level up your characters, which is handy. You don't want to finish. You want to finish the game around level 40 or so. Nothing higher than that. I should have actually plugged him there, but I didn't. And he's like a weird death animation, which is cool. Man, this game's so good. Starts kind of crap, but once you get into it, it's unreal. Especially the cards. I love playing the cards. Like, I'll say I play a lot of Final Fantasy XIV, and they put the card game from this in Final Fantasy XIV, but they just messed around with the rules, and the rules are shit, to be honest. But in this game, it's just everything's fair game. You win a game, you get the card. Which is actually one of the things I should do before I save, because I know I'm going to forget next time I come back to this. So you listen to your wee fanfare, get our experience, get our AP, which is the important part. Get out, shield talk wet. And of course, as soon as you leave, you get a fight. That's brutal. But the enemies out here are actual garbage. Like, what is the point of this guy even showing up? He's like, he hasn't a chance of beating you. So we're just going to gun him down. See ya. So we want to do this. We want to get onto the actual road itself. Oh god damn it, I slipped off. Because of the digital walking, it's so awkward. But that's actually the enemy I want. See that enemy? If you can get him to spawn often, he spawns usually beside the cliffs, so I'm surprised he's actually here. We want to use the ability card to turn him into turn him into a triple triad card. His stats on the card are pretty crap, but he does have the ability to turn into a jumbo character, which is a double 8. And that will be important later. So the sooner I get the card ability, the better. So, like before, I want to get onto the road and try and stay on it. Because when you're on the road, you don't actually get encounters. Later on you will get an ability that prevents all encounters, but that's a long way coming. So, let me see, we're going to head to... Get out of her. Head to the shop. Obviously that's just your starting weapons, there's no new weapons yet, because it's still pretty early. Now we want to fight this girl, she's important. She's the one that transfers a lot of the card game rules. But we don't obviously have any yet. Well, we have cards, but I don't want to play her until I save the game because you can lose cards. And if you lose enough cards, you'll be unable to play until you pretty much find more. Which means defeating enemies or using that ability card. So there we go. There's also an issue with Timber Maniacs. That actually affects the side quests later if you read them. So again, we're just going to save the game here. I don't actually know where I'm going to cut the video off or where I'll pick up from, so the video will probably just end abruptly at some point and then pick up again. So just be wary, that's a thing to look out for. Because don't know how long I'm going to play it or continue streams, because I usually fucking stop playing games because I'm scrub. So the best card we have is obviously Ifrit, because nothing's going to beat him at this stage. But the most important thing is we cannot lose a high rank card to this bitch. If we lose a high rank card to this bitch, she will leave the area and never come back until late in the game, once we do all that crap. So that is extremely important. So we're gonna place that there. Now if I place this here, I could take his card and defend 2. And with that, he is now unable to defeat me, so we've won, and we'll get 2 cards. The cards at this point don't really matter, so I'm gonna take these 2. And now we don't want to play her ever again. The reason you play her is every time you play her, she has a chance to change the region's card rule. And when you first play a triple triad, the card rule is when you win 1 card, or if you lose 1 card. That's the most basic way, and it's the safest way to play the game if you're unsure of how it works. But once you get used to it, you want to gain cards really fast. So you fight her until she swaps the game rule to difference. So the bigger beating you give the enemy, the more cards you win. So as you can see, she's actually extremely powerful with her limb break. And that's why we don't want to heal her up at this point until she falls to a critical level. Because like, this is just broke. She gets a move later called Degenerator, and it just breaks the game. Because anything that's not a boss will die in one hit. And it's got a 100% success rate. So again, we're just going to cycle through the turns to force her to get her limit break, which will end this fight. So that's pretty much the intro of the game done. Now they're going to tell you how to heal your GS, which you will never do, ever. So you can just completely skip that. We're going to take some of that cure, because that's good. Those are wee draw points, they'll refill periodically through the game. Sometimes that's the only way to get rare magic. But for the most part, they're usually shit, so you can ignore them. But once you know where the good ones are, you're flying. So we're just going to head back in here. Now we're meant to go back to our room and change into our uniform. But I actually want to grab this guy before he gets away. And unfortunately the trade routes are going back to 1, so I'm going to have to go back to the city at some point. But I can't make use of some of the new cards I got. And this guy's going to have a mini mod card. Unfortunately he's not playing it. So we're going to have to force it out of him. I'm going to play this so I can beat it on both sides, regardless of what happens. No, we're not going to play that. We are going to play this. So I'm trying to force him to use cards that he wouldn't normally play. Because the only thing that can take this off me is his bat card, but it does get weak stats at the bottom. And the only one... I must see... Yeah, I think we'll just stick this guy in the corner. We're safe. Yeah, because now he's no way of getting that card back. And it's a draw, that's fine. Just need to grab him before he leaves. Oh, that was lucky. I'm not too fussed on that one because he didn't actually have the card I wanted, so if he gets away, that's fine. Now he's starting to actually play some nice cards here. So I want to start using my weakest one, so I'll get rid of that one. And we can get rid of this one. See, now we're looking pretty good here. Because he is not beating that. And I need an all-around good card is the Trifius. Unfortunately, if you follow him in the next screen, he doesn't actually appear there, which sucks. He actually just respawns here. And sometimes just, oh, difference came back, nice. Now we're going to get a lot of cards. Yeah, unfortunately there's no preset here, so you can't, you actually have to set your cards manually each time. But yeah, we'll just take Rental, it's fine. I'm going to set this weak one in the middle. Use it as bait. And he's no 7, so he's not taking that. And if I stick this here, we can just take it back And take our draw, that's fine. Didn't have the card I wanted, so I'm not too fussed. This is why I actually wanted that Jimbo character card, which normally I would have farmed for. But he's just played an interesting card. He's played that skeleton. Now I really want to win that because that is a strong card. Start of the game. Obviously end game it's garbage, but start of the game that's pretty damn good. There's not going to be many cards that can beat that. Speaking of which, that's an absolute massacre. So now I'm going to get 4 cards. Yeah, we're going to take him and take these other 2. So now the game's going to get a lot easier. Just want to keep your eye out for like strong cards. None of his cards have a 7 on the left or on the bottom, so that's a pretty strong player there. Just leaves him with nowhere to go. And from this point, this is a guaranteed win. There's nothing he can do now. So once you plop that down, that's enough 4 cards. Open and shut case. So I just want to grab anything that's blue, means you don't have it, so we want to grab anything you don't have to boost your collection. Fortunately I'm going to get some duplicates. I'll grab him, he's trying to get away. Which we're not going to let him do. Oh. For some reason I took Tombury instead of the skeleton, which kind of sucks because I kind of need a skeleton. So I'm going to play this, it'll force him to use his wind card. And yeah, that was pretty bad by my hand. Shouldn't have done that. Need to actually make sure to take the right cards this time. Which I guess is the downside to having more cards. Now there's the mini mod card, which is the double 9. So we're just going to drop that there. And nice, he uses Jello. And I'm going to force him to waste the turn. And then grab everything. Because the direct route is not on, I'm not too worried about losing cards. So now we'll grab that, we'll grab that. So now we can just let that guy run on, we don't need him anymore, he's of no use to us. So now's a good time to save. If I remember how to. And I think from there, I'm just going to call it. So we'll probably have to end the first video here, because that's like 45 minutes apparently. So until next time, smell you later.